Today I will analyze the body language of the Wolf of Wall Street, being on a date with one of the prettiest women, Margaret Robbie. I will break down his body language interacting with this woman so you can apply it to your own life. Enjoy. Alright, right off the bat you can see Margaret Robbie on this side, alright? She's probably one of the prettiest women out there. You can also see her great posture, upright, chin elevated, you know. Also, the way she's gesturing here is on above head level, which means that she's excited. So, if someone gestures above head level, that is usually a sign of excitement. You can also gesture in like the stomach area. This is called the truth plane. Okay, this is where people tend to trust you more in the words you say. I know this is tough to do because it's a movie and you don't see the stomach area right now. But if you want to convince people, then start gesturing in that area. Now we see how DiCaprio in this movie, John Belfast, seduces Naomi in a way. All right.
So Bay Ridge, it's near Staten Island, right?
Brooklyn, across the Verrazano Bridge.
Saturday Night Fever territory.
So right here, okay? It's for most men probably a huge difficulty holding strong eye contact with a woman looking like that, all right? But if you would always look to the ground, it would come off as submissive. Looking down is a submissive trait. And, the woman wants to be the one, usually wants to be the one is kind of submissive in a relationship, all right? They don't want the man that's submissive. That's weird. So if you have strong eye contact with her, that is a lot more powerful than looking down and dodging the eye contact. You never want to dodge eye contact for a lot of time in the conversation. So you can see how he's already holding very strong eye contact. And also the gestures he does, it's not really great gesturing, I'm gonna be honest. So this is kind of clustered hands with a pointing finger here. So this definitely, kind of makes her, talk about herself more because it kind of, points at her, telling, yo, all right, start talking. But that's not really a great way to gesture, not really great body language, really. What you want to do in that situation is probably have your hands a bit lower. I know, again, it's tough because you only see this, everything above this. So if you would gesture below that, they wouldn't see that. But if it's a real date, you would like to have your hands kind of on the table or just so that you take up a lot of space, making yourself bigger than you really are, just so you come across as more dominant. This would really be the best way you could do it. But just as Leonardo DiCaprio does in this scene right here, holding strong eye contact is very powerful. All right. So never forget that. Also, there's the 5-second rule where you count up from 0 to 4. And when it's 4, you break the eye contact. So you're not holding eye contact for hours like a psychopath, but, breaking it after 4. And usually people break the eye contact at 3. So other people you will count up, you'll be like to 2 or 3, and then people usually break the eye contact, okay? So it's not a problem at all. That's a little rule right there. It's called the 5-second rule. It's a great tool. Big men use it all the time.
That's right. Guinea Gulch. We call it Verrazano Bridge the Guinea Game.
Okay, right here. You saw her looking down for a second. Let's see if I can catch it. Yeah, perfect. So I know she's looking at her hand, doing a motion, but it's still looking down, so it's still submissive in a way. And also, this is kind of she's looking at her hand, so it's not really a normal thing. But if you have a woman looking down, breaking eye contact with while looking down, that is usually a sign that she's interested in you. So 9 times out of 10, when you hold eye contact with a woman, count up from 0 to 4, and she breaks eye contact by looking down, that is oftentimes a sign that she's like, all right, I'm interested in you. Give it a shot. Try it out. Okay, 9 times out of 10 that works. Just try. That's really, you can't get a more obvious sign. So if you're on a date and a woman starts breaking eye contact while looking down, that's her sign. Go get it.
So I presume you're Italian?
On my dad's side, I'm also Dutch.
Also here, another, I don't think he's a really great example. I will just state the obvious. He probably is going to get dated because he has a lot of money in this movie. But again, there was a little mistake again in his body language. Have a look at his hands. He's pretty much hiding behind his hands. That's not really great. You know, he's kind of blocking her off with his hands right here. It also just looks like he's very shy, you know, hiding behind his hands. It's not a great look, okay? You just don't want to have your hands really up here. Just, if you're gesturing up here, maybe, I don't know what you would do, but just take up more space. Don't fold them in front of you, all right?
Presume you're Italian?
On my dad's side, I'm also Dutch, German, English. I'm a mutt.
And you're a mutt.
Yeah, it's a
So this was a great one because you can see how slowly he kind of, you know, moves here and takes a sip of his wine. That's great body language because, you know, big men move at their own pace, all right? You will never see a big man rushing around. And if they do, then they're just, I don't know, having an awful body language right now. But then they wouldn't be big men really. So big men really move at their own pace. And that's slow. Just slowly moving. They don't, you know, they aren't in a rush, all right? They don't like to get told when to move, how fast to move. They move at their own pace, okay? That's a big man trait right there.
well, our family over there, though, in London. Mayanna, she's the best. Very British, you know. She's a classy lady.
That explains it then.
Sweet.
Right here, the pointing, all right? So pointing is a interesting gesture. Usually pointing doesn't come across as very good because it's seen as aggressive with most people. I think they did a study, like 80% of the people found that, you know, just insulting and didn't like it. So the better way would be using your whole hand, but, you know, in this case, you're not really pointing at her. But if you point, don't really use one finger, use your whole hand. So it's kind of like looking like, you know, these are your, that's awful. But these are your whole hand to point, okay? Instead of having one finger here and then your whole hand, okay? I hope you see the difference.
Means what?
Explains you. I mean, you're a duchess, right?
Here he doesn't. You know, now he points at her and he uses his whole hand. That was what I tried to paint. Doesn't really look the same, but that's what I meant. That's seen as way more positive. So it's just a better way to point at people.
Duchess of Bay Ridge.
Excuse me. Can I get a straw, please?
And now another thing is not really, really, you know, important for the scene, but you see how she higher, you know, her voice gets higher, you know, because it's a question, that's obvious. But you also see big men never, if it's a sentence, never go up with the voice at the end of a sentence because then it sounds like a question, just like she did right now. So always lower your voice, you know, start it a bit higher and then always at the end of a sentence go down because otherwise it will sound like a question. It will sound like you're uncertain about the things you say. And that's not really a great look, all right? You want to come across as just knowing what you actually say. And that's just way more convincing big man thing right there.
Thank you. So I was,
There you can see the slight leaning. So what leaning in means is it's a submissive move at the end of the day. So you want to watch out that you don't lean in too much. But if you lean in, it also has another message, which is kind of like, I'm interested in the conversation, keep talking. So just use it wisely, don't do it too often. But if you want to keep a conversation going, like in this case, you can lean in to kind of point out the message that you want the other person to talk.
I was surprised you asked Christy for my number.
And this wasn't really perfect again. He looked down, you know. You don't want to look down. If you break eye contact, try to do it to the sides. He did this once before, but never break eye contact by looking down. Submissive, not really good. But now he has strong eye contact again, fixed on her. That's a way better look. Also, kind of here, pressing the lips together is a sign of distress. Slight distress here. Here.
Aren't you married?
And you can see how she lowers her voice. Kind of different, kind of starting whispering. So if you whisper, that's also, again, a very, very effective way to have people listen to you, because people tend to lean in to listen to the things you say. So that's why whispering is very effective, because it makes people listen to your words more carefully.
Yeah, but what? Married people can't have friends?
And you can see a lot of fidgeting here. He looked to the bottom again, he looked to the side, then he looked here, and then down again. So it was a lot of head moving here. And just fidgeting in general is a sign of nervousness. And also you don't really, again, don't want to break eye contact by looking down. It's just not a great thing to do, all right?
We're gonna be friends.
Yeah. You wanna be my friend?
We're not gonna be friends.
You knocked me dead. That on my feet.
All right, there. I just wanted, again, to say something. Big man smirk. All right, he didn't smirk right now. He showed his teeth. You need to watch out that you don't show your teeth too often, because it's seen as submissive. If the alpha comes, the beta show their teeth. So big men usually smirk, so they don't have to show their teeth, and it's just a great way to do it, all right?
And at night I work on my designs. I have an entire line of lingerie. No camisoles, bustiers, panties.
She designs women's panties too? Oh my god.
So this pretty much is great acting right here. This is the face of lust right there. This man is, he's attached now. All right.
Come on, Jordan, think of a way to get up to her apartment.
You wanna come up for some tea or something?
Tea, yeah. Like hot tea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sounds nice. Tea, fuck yeah, I wanted to come up for tea. Like Darjeeling, rose hips, things like that.
And then right there, he puts his hands in the pockets. Could be because it's cold, but usually putting your hands in the pocket is not really a great thing to do, because you're making your frame look smaller in general. It's not that cool as everyone tells you, putting your hands in the pockets makes you look cool. It really just makes you look insecure, because you're making yourself smaller. And if it's not cold, hiding your thumbs again is also not a good thing, because you will see a lot of confident gestures is when the thumb is pointed upwards. So in the pockets, your thumb is not only pointed downwards, but also it's hidden. And that's just bad for multiple reasons. So hiding your hands in the pockets is not really great. Makes you look insecure, and the lack of confidence. It just, also the overall space is just smaller now. Alright, I hope you learned something from this video. To the next vid. Bye.